Hey everyone, I wanted to take a minute to share my excitement about my brush collection. I recently had a whole new set reordered. It went from 14 pieces to 17 pieces, so I've added three more brushes to the collection. But before I get to that, I wanted to share a little bit of a story that I encountered not too long ago, a couple days ago. I went to Solvang, California. It's on my way to visit my mom, who I was ultimately going to see and spend some time with her. Her birthday was not too long ago, and I told her I'd come up and visit. So I did. And anyway, while I was at Rite Aid in Solvang, I was getting ready to leave, and my partner was in the car with my dogs because we took our dogs with us, and he was sitting in the car keeping them cool. And he waved me over in kind of a panic, like, Eddie, I'm over here, I'm over here. And I ran over. I wanted to know what was going on because he sounded a little distressed. And he pointed out that there was a truck parked in front of him, had been there for about 15, 20 minutes. And inside the truck, in 100-degree weather, there was a dog. And he was very concerned about the dog. There was a window cracked about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches if we're being generous. And it was definitely a situation. It was hot. It was high noon. It was only going to start getting warmer. And the truck was not parked in the shade. So we did everything we could to try to find the owner. We called the Rite Aid store and asked them to make an announcement to see if anybody there was the owner of the truck and if they can get out there and relieve their dogs of the heat. Fortunately, there was an animal rescue, a woman that was with the animal rescue, and she had her rescue vehicle. She knew immediately that the dog was in danger. Now, I'm not an advocate to anybody going around and opening somebody's car doors, especially if it's not your car. You don't want to get busted for breaking and entering. But this woman actually knew what she was doing. So she went around, she lifted each handle of the door to see if any of them were unlocked. And miraculously, I guess, the passenger side door was in fact unlocked. She opened the door, and behold, there was not just one dog, there were two. The second dog was down in the footwell of the back seat, just trying to keep cool. And the second dog that was visible was sitting in the seat with its snout up towards the opening of the window, doing its best to try to just pull in any bit of cool air that it possibly could. My mind always wants me to first think calmly and rationally. Maybe we can find the person first before we start to break into their car, before we call the police. But we had gone through pretty much every scenario to try to find the owner prior to this kind of escalating to a point where we were like now in this guy's vehicle, taking dogs out of his car. And the rescue worker, she knew what she was doing. So she really was the one who handled most of it. But she was definitely distraught. I had asked her, I said, is how much should the window be open? She said, the window, it doesn't matter how open the window is. It's illegal, and this is new to me. I had no idea that it's actually illegal to leave your pets in a car, window down or not. So the situation turned out to be okay, I guess, for the most part, for the dogs anyway. The dogs were extracted from the car. They were put into the rescue vehicle and taken off to the vet. It's my understanding that the gentleman who owned the dogs was cited. I think he got like $100 fine per dog. I'm not gonna ridicule the guy. I think that we as human beings, we make mistakes. Sometimes we're not thinking, but it's incredibly important for everybody to act as a community when we see things like either a dog in a car with the windows not far down enough, or especially if it's hot outside. You know, obviously if there was a child in a car, we should absolutely say something, and we shouldn't hesitate, not for a second, we shouldn't hesitate to call the authorities. We're not trying to get anybody in trouble, we're just trying to save a life. We need to be advocates for animals that don't have voices of their own. So this video is really supposed to be about brushes. I just recently relaunched my brush collection. I went from 14 brushes to 17, so I've added 3 new brushes to the collection. And in the month of September, we're going to be doing more of a focus on brushes. We're going to be pairing these little babies up with some of the products that I've created. One thing I can say is that I have upped the quality of the hair. I went 1 grade higher, so I'm just a grade below the best possible hair I could use. And the only reason I didn't use the best possible hair was that there are ways to make these brushes beautiful without having to go there. That top grade hair is very costly, and I wanted to make sure that my brush collection is a collection that everyone can afford. They are comparable to the same type of quality that you would receive from prestige and luxury brands. My background is in the prestige world of cosmetics, so now that I'm playing in the masstige world, it is my commitment to bring products to everyone that you can afford and that will deliver the same type of results and quality that you would expect from even a prestige or a luxury brand. One thing I wanted to say is that although I'm doing a little teaser now, I'm showing you all these different, I dropped a couple, but I'm showing you all the different heads here. I will eventually, over the next week or so, I'm going to take some time to talk specifically about each one of the brushes, how they function, and what they're used for. So make sure that you subscribe. Hit that little bell as well, so every time I post a new YouTube video, you're alerted and hopefully you'll watch. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to my story. And remember, you know, I feel a little bit like Bob Barker here talking about dogs and advocating for dogs, but you know, I think animals make us incredibly happy. They bring joy to our lives. And, you know, we have to thank them for that by watching out for them. So be their ears, their eyes, and most importantly, be their voice. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you soon.